students, I'm back with your next class. In today's class, we're going to discuss another family, that is Liliaceae family. It's a monocot, okay? Unlike the others that we have discussed so far, they were all dicots. Now, Liliaceae being a monocot family, okay? So now, in the Liliaceae family, let us start with the, as usual, vegetative characters, and then we'll discuss the floral characters. So first, for vegetative characters, the habit of the plant would be perennial, that means a life cycle of more than 2 years, okay? So perennial herbs with underground bulbs, corms and rhizome, okay? Next, root would be adventitious and fibrous. After all, it's a monocot, right? So in that case, fibrous root would be present. Taproot won't be present. Next, stem. Aerial, underground, herbaceous or weedy, and leaves would be mostly alternate, linear, exstipulate without stipules with parallel venation. Again, because it's a monocot, you have shifted from reticulate venation to parallel venation. Okay. Now, next regarding the floral characters, the inflorescence would be solitary or cymose, often in the form of umbellate clusters. Okay, umbel, if you remember, we have discussed it, isn't it? So, umbellate cluster would be mostly seen. Flower, bisexual as usual, hypogynous, that is superior ovary, actinomorphic, ebracteate and trimerous. Okay, trimerous means flowers with floral parts in the number of 3 or multiples of 3. Perianth. Now this is something very new, isn't it? All the families we have discussed, they were calyx and corolla. Now if you remember, calyx and corolla when fused together forming a single unit, we call it a tepal, right? Or rather we call it a perianth, right? Single unit being tepal, right? So perianth would be rather present here rather than calyx and corolla separately being born. Here we have perianth. So perianth would have tepals, and tepals will be 6 in number. Total 6 number of tepals. 3 plus 3 arrangement. That means 3 would be in separate hole. Another 3 will be in a different hole. So hole for the 6 tepals would be different. 3 towards outside, 3 towards inside. Okay. Often united into a tube and with valvate estibation. Okay. Next, androecium. Stamen 6, again 3 plus 3 arrangement. Do remember another important thing here. It would show epiphyllous condition. Epiphyllous condition means the stamens would arise being attached with the tepals. Okay, or we can also call it epitepalous condition. Gynoecium would be tricarpillary, syncarpous, ovary superior, trilacula. See, trimerous flower after all, isn't it? That's why tricarpillary, trilacula, all of that. Here, stamens are in the multiple of 3, isn't it? So, everything is going to be either 3 or multiples of 3. Trilacula with many lacules and exile placentation. Okay, exile placentation means ovule will be in the central axis with many septa or lacules present in the ovary. Fruit capsule mostly, but rarely berry is also present. And seeds are endospermous. Now this being the floral characters, using this let us see how to make the floral diagram and the formula. First, floral formula, as because it's ebracteate, so EBR, then actinomorphic and finally bisexual, right? Now, instead of calyx and corolla, we have a perianth here, so P, but 3 plus 3, okay, not directly 6, 3 plus 3 tepals, and the tepals are fused together. That's why it is under a bracket. Alright, next, androecium will also be 6 stamens, but then they would be arising 3 from inside, 3 from outside. That's why 3 plus 3 arrangement. And also do remember, the stamens being attached to the tepals, we have a sign like this which shows fusion, isn't it? Epitepalous condition. Okay. Last being the gynoecium. which is superior ovary, and 3 locule, trilocular after all, isn't it? So 3 locules under bracket. Alright, so this being the floral formula. Now for the floral diagram. The floral diagram here is going to be like this. See, there are 6 sepals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The 6 sepals are arranged in 2 separate holes, 3 towards inside, 3 towards outside. But they are of course fused to one another, right? That's why 3 plus 3 but under bracket. Understood that? Alright. Next, the stamens are going to be arising or showing epitepalous condition, isn't it? So in that case they would arise from being attached with the tepals. 3 from outside and 3 from inside. Okay, that's why 3 plus 3. Okay, not directly 6, 3 plus 3. But they are not fused with one another. That's why not a bracket here. Bracket is not being used here. Okay, understood that? Finally is the gynoecium, which is trilocular. 3 separate divisions here. So 3 units, 3 locules. And because it's axile placentation, that's why it is going to be the ovules are being attached at the central axis. Alright, so this is the floral diagram for the Liliaceae family. Understood this? All of you? Fine, this was the last family that we are discussing. So by now, the concept of family should be clear with you all. Fine, I hope it is all being clear. Right? Now, the more you will practice, the more you will be confident. Okay, now it all depends on you, but okay, if you practice it well, you will be finding it very easy. Otherwise, if you don't practice it or you don't remember this important terminologies and all, or the whole concept of the chapter is not clear to you, then learning families directly would become very tough. So some students find families very easy and some find it very tough, and it finally depends on you whether you practice it well or not. Okay. The last thing being the important members again. The important members are again under the 4 categories. Food, young shoot and root tuber of asparagus when cooked can be eaten. Likewise, the very important member here would be Allium cepa, that is onion. Okay. Next, medicines is aloe vera. Fine. Next, ornamental plants would be lily, gloriosa and tulip. And finally, colchicine. It's a very, very important one. See, there is this plant called Colchicum autumnale. This particular plant, it bears a biochemical substance that's called colchicine. Colchicine is actually a chemical. And it is used in various types of plant breeding programs, and it is actually going to help in chromosomal doubling. Okay, like we usually are diploid organism, all surrounding us, right? We are ourselves diploid organism and we have 2 sets of chromosome, right? Likewise, the plants are also mostly diploid. If you want to make a plant, rather than diploid means 2n, right? Now that means we have 2 sets of chromosome. In case if you want a plant to be 3n, having 3 sets of chromosome, or 4n, having 4 sets of chromosome, that's what is called chromosomal doubling. From 2n to 4n, from 4n to 8n, that's called chromosomal doubling. For chromosomal doubling, colchicine can be used. How it is used, what is exactly the mechanism of colchicine treatment, that you will learn in the cell division chapter. Okay, there I'll make it clear to you, because then you will be able to understand it much more easily. Okay, for now just try to remember that colchicine is a chemical that is extracted from the plant Colchicum autumnale, which is used for chromosomal doubling, making a plant have more than 2 sets of chromosome. In that case, that can be very useful regarding plant breeding programs. How you will learn it eventually in details later on in later chapters. Okay, so this is all about family Liliaceae. So with that, we complete this chapter of morphology. In the next class, we'll start with a new chapter then, that is anatomy of flowering plants.